It was in this parking lot at Highway 290 in the North Loop that the baby boy lost his life. It was business as usual inside the store. If you look over to my side here, there's actually some people who have been evacuated. But right now, and just a few minutes ago, there was a canine officer. Has the man been caught yet? Can y'all tell me? Has he been caught? Has the dog hit on him? They can't tell me just yet. Okay, now I'm being told that they may have just located the man inside the store. This is happening as we're speaking. I'm going to take you over to where the fire department believes the fire started. Take a close look at this. This is a smart meter. All that's left are the charred remains. You can see that it was just eaten up by the fire. Many like to say Julian Castro is a young Latino version of Barack Obama. He's 37 years old, a Harvard Law School graduate, mayor of San Antonio for 3 years now. He's been focusing on creating well-paying jobs in education. And now many are asking, could he be governor of Texas someday?
My fellow Texans!
Many say Julian Castro has all the right stuff.
No matter who you are or where you come from, the path is always forward.
Castro's speech fired up students at the University of Houston downtown.
I believe it empowered a lot of Latinos last night.
It's very inspiring, you know, for the first time ever, parents can really tell their children, you can become anybody you want.
Castro's grandmother was an orphan from Mexico. He was raised by his mother. His twin brother is running for Congress.
Hey guys, are you guys registered to vote?
Castro is expected to give a push to a student voter registration drive. Students, it seems, have a soft spot in Castro's heart.
I couldn't help but to think back to my classmates at Thomas Jefferson High School in San Antonio.
It was a proud moment for his former teacher,
Julian Castro,
who couldn't stop talking about him after the speech.
He's like a hope. He's like that energy that's going to push the students forward and not saying, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, so therefore I can't be.
Carita Thomas said she wanted Castro to pursue science. He was so good at it. Turns out he was pretty good at politics, too.
We know that you can't be pro-business unless you're pro-education.
It's clear to see why he's being called the rising star in the Democratic Party. The last time a Latino even came close to getting this much attention was another mayor from San Antonio, Henry Cisneros. So he certainly is getting a lot of attention here in this case.
Now, has Castro said anything about possibly a statewide run for perhaps governor?
Well, that's a question a lot of people are asking him, and he's reportedly said that for right now, he just wants to remain mayor of San Antonio for 5 more years. The year 2017 is when he would have to leave office because of a term limit there.
All right.
He has time.
He does.
Only 37
He's a young
years
guy.
old. Yeah.
And a fan base.
Yeah, there are a lot of them out there.
All right, Vicente, thanks.
Sure. You know, so many people were so worried as they watched Isaac roll ashore today, and there's a good reason. Check this out. Some people here on Bolivar Peninsula found themselves standing on top of roofs like this one, waiting to be rescued.
The eyes would have been bad luck. Isaac.
Many people on Bolivar Peninsula watched as Isaac rolled ashore.
I feel sorry for those people. Yeah, we went through the same thing.
The hurricane brings back bad memories.
I don't want to expose myself to that. That hurt is reopens a lot of wounds from Ike.
Carol Hamaday thought Hurricane Ike would kill her. The 65-year-old rode out the storm at her bed and breakfast after a person staying there refused to leave. Hamaday says it looked like a tsunami was coming her way. The water came out of the Gulf into her yard, rose 14 feet high, went over her balcony, and crashed into her home. She was in trouble. So was Audine Umbright, who lives down the beach.
Over here.
A Coast Guard chopper plucked her from the roof of her home just before Ike made landfall.
I know that their hearts are racing, that everything that they own and everything that they love is going through their mind, and they're hoping they'll come back to something.
A chopper ended up rescuing Hamaday too, but only after the storm.
By the grace of God, I survived it.
Still, she refuses to get worked up over storms in the Gulf.
Why get yourself all stressed out until you really know it's going to be here? Why? I just chose not to subject myself to that again.
Watching, waiting, and wondering, all part of living in a little paradise. It is such a beautiful place, and the house that I'm standing on is one of very few that was actually left standing in this particular neighborhood. People who live here say now that they are focusing on the beauty of the island and not the fear that might come if a hurricane comes this season. I did big drama here at this apartment complex on the west side. Imagine it's 11 o'clock in the morning, things are quiet around here, when all of a sudden the guy who lives inside this apartment hears a commotion outside. He comes, he pokes over this door and sees two masked men come at him. They're armed, and all of a sudden they start shooting. Right inside this apartment is Jimmy Lee. He sees what's going on. He tries to figure out what's going on. Jimmy, if I can get you over here, what happened next right after that?
After that, I seen them. All they did was they looked at me and then just started shooting as I opened the curtain up right here.
What was going through your mind when they started shooting at you like that?
My kids, my babies, they were in the next room. They're just right there.
The bullets were going right towards the baby. Here's one bullet right here. And then if you look at this curtain, you can actually see where several of the bullets went through the curtain, and then over here, more bullet holes here. Now, what was also interesting and very frightening about this at the same time is that these guys had police shirts on. They pretended to be officers.
Yes, they did. Yes,
what were they wearing?
They were just wearing all black. They said police on there with masks. They were just covering you. That's all you could see.
Now, why do you think they came here? You were talking about that earlier. Why this apartment?
I don't know. When I looked out, they seen me, I seen them. They just, I guess, a mistake of identity.
Probably the wrong place, you were saying earlier.
The wrong place.
And the bullet missed your baby by what, just a few inches into the room?
Just a few, 12 inches. Just 1 foot above the pillow.
The baby was taking a nap at that time. We're so glad.
My girlfriend and my baby were in the bed.
We're so glad they're okay. One longtime chief investigator said this was stunning. And now we know which agency dropped the ball. A blunder discovered after a wild beach party. From the beginning, trouble was everywhere.
Texas beach party, you know what I'm saying? It's going down, they fight.
Thousands of Easter weekend revelers in the heat, a prescription for something worse that finally did happen at the end of the night when gunshots rang out. And when the shooting stopped, Derek Milam, 25 years old, lay dead.
It's just he was innocent, and why would they take him?
There were even more questions when officers identified the accused shooter. DeAndre Marquise Gray, 19 years old, never should have been at the party in the first place. Why? He was out on bail for a previous killing. A judge had ordered him to wear an ankle monitor and stay home. That didn't make much sense to friends of Derek Milam.
The justice system should have figured that out. He was going to do it again.
Even worse, police discovered that Gray never got that electronic bracelet. Investigators were stunned.
It was upsetting that here a person is supposed to have this and didn't have, so there's a failure somewhere in the system.
In fact, Gray had even been arrested while he was out on bond for carrying a prohibited weapon, went in and out of jail, and yet no one noticed he wasn't wearing the transmitter. So we went to the Harris County Community Supervision and Corrections Department, also known as Adult Probation. It handles ankle monitors. We wanted answers. Someone has died in this particular case, and no one has been disciplined. You guys have not said why this happened.
May I speak to you off camera?
Off camera, Deputy Director Ray Garcia told me that normal procedures were not followed, and so they never knew Gray was supposed to have an ankle monitor, a monitor that might have saved Derek Milam's life.
He couldn't really say nothing because he was bleeding so much.
The probation department says it's investigating, trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. Probation officers are supposed to get ankle monitors on defendants pretty quick, but in this case, the agency didn't even know DeAndre Gray didn't have one until it was too late.